Okay, so we're playing some Lamentations of the Flame Princess, which of course I didn't bring the book, but that's okay. Yeah, but we're testing today. Oh, let me switch this. Oops, so we can see better. We're testing today a new magic system. It's not that new. It's from, I don't know, 2013 or something. This is from Lost Pages, specifically Neopraxis Productions, Wonders and Wickedness. So it's kind of an alternative magic system for OSR type games, or any kind of game really, where there's no levels to magic. So we're giving it a shot today because I might use it in the campaign, and we're running a very short adventure that I'm calling Dead Cows and Green Moss or something like that. Because what's happened is the party here, the magic user, has heard a rumor in town that one of the local farmers had kind of a strange incident. He heard some, some terrible mooing, I guess, from his cows. And when he ran out to see what went on, a huge sinkhole had opened up and two cows were laying at the bottom, dead. And, he dropped down a lantern to kind of see what was going on. And you could see that there was a big chunk of the cow itself missing. So like something had eaten it, and something grabbed his lantern that he couldn't see and tried to yank it from him. And, maybe if you were a hero, that might entice you to go. But actually, one other thing that the farmer had mentioned was that the cave seemed to have some kind of strange green glow about it. And our magic user friend knows that there's a certain kind of green glowing moss that's very useful in creating a dark vision potion. So knowing the value of that, you've spoken with the farmer, who is, if I can find that was me talking while trying to open the PDF at the same time, whose name is McGreevey. And McGreevey has agreed to allow you to go into this hole in the ground and see what's going on. He's, hoping that he says you can take anything you find, but he would like you to try to get rid of whatever vermin is living in this hole. So he's brought over one of his carts, and he tied a rope to it so you can level yourself down into it. But if you'd like, we'll start off with the top of the hole. Then you can introduce your characters, Tony, and let us know what you're thinking, what your plans might be here.
Yeah, the main character you see is the magic user by the name of Emerson Lynch. He appears to be in his late 30s or early 40s, a very well manicured man in very fine, almost regal looking clothing, and a well manicured mustache and beard and hair. And he specializes in the field of psychomancy, where he communicates with spirits of dead souls and helps the dead souls communicate back to the living. And upon hearing that there may be some type of fungi that he knows about or has heard about that he can gather to create these night vision potions, he also knows that may help with connecting the living and the dead souls back together. That is his main interest of being here. So bringing along his companion and his friend, who is known as Lum. He's a very large, probably 6'2", 6'3", very heavy set, large, just naturally stout, not fat, but just a heavy beefed, muscled up man with his scowl on his face and his short haircut and beard and mustache. He even keeps neatly trimmed, but his clothes are usually kind of ragged or almost dirty looking, as he's just a normal worker. But he's brought Lum along for the strength part of not knowing what is taking these cattle from the farmer. And he just looks at McGreevey and says, well, yes, we will go down and take care of any problem. We hope that to save your cows. And as the agreement was, I will gather up what I can as far as the fungi and stuff for my use and my studies and things. But we will be back hopefully sooner than later. Don't want to be down there too late after dark, of course. And as he says that, Lum just looks over and says, dark doesn't matter. We've got torches and lanterns. Maybe they'll be more scared of us than we are of them. And that is Emerson Lynch, the magic user psychomancer, and Lum, the fighter.
Excellent. So this hole is, as I said, it's a sinkhole. It's, the actual hole in the ground is maybe 10 feet or so in diameter, so it's pretty big. But of course, there's some collapsed soil kind of going down to it, kind of almost like a funnel. And like I say, he brought one of his wagons over because there's no trees or anything around here. That's in the middle of a field with the cows. So you can tie off a rope or whatever to lower yourself in if you want to this cart. Out of whatever else you took, lanterns or torches or whatever. And you can pretty safely, I mean, upon testing, because the farmer did it, you can walk right up to the edge and look in first, of course, before you do anything, or whatever you like. And we'll say it's midday, so you have enough time to, there's enough light coming from the sun even to see into this hole.
Yep, Emerson would definitely peer down into the hole itself to get a general idea of what they're looking at. Is maybe Lum hooks up the rope and block and tackle, whatever, to secure them away back up.
Okay, yeah. Just take a look over the edge. It drops down about 20-ish feet, so it's a pretty significant hole. There's a bit of dirt, on the ground, but you gather that there was probably some old ledge, like rock ledge or something in here that was holding this thing up, and it's there's not so much dirt, down there that it looks like maybe there was only a few feet of dirt anyways holding this thing. It just took, 2 fat cows in the right spot to knock it through. And you do in fact see two, or one, I should say, cow. You don't see 2 anymore. You see 1 cow down there, or more like half a cow. You see kind of dragged areas and blood going to the south. You kind of walk around the hole and look through. You can see that the tunnel seems to proceed that way. You see that, probably an entire cow, and then like half of a cow, like a cow was cut in half or something and dragged that way, because you can see just like blood and stuff across the ground. You don't see any of the moss or whatever that you're looking for here, but you also know that the daylight kills it. So if there had been any that was, in this exact open area, it probably wouldn't be shiny right now. You'd need to go deeper into the cave. And of course, you brought some kind of sacks to keep it out of the light when you recover it.
Yeah, after getting everything secure, Emerson, starts looking at his fine clothing. He's going to get dirty, and Lum, well, let me go first. I'll get down there to make sure there's no rats skirting around. And Lum will start calming down into the hole with the rope first.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's a pretty easy climb. And again, you have all the time in the world. You probably put knots in it or whatever, so it's easy enough to climb down. And you have a block and tackle to pull stuff back up. So you're easily, a strong man gets down to the bottom of the hole. Like I say, it's enough daylight's filtering down here that you can see pretty well. You don't see any rats or anything, but you do see certain, there's flies all over the corpse, and some beetles and stuff kind of scurrying around. The cave itself is only one kind of clear way out of it. It's basically a cavity in the earth. It's mostly rock with, I should say dirt rather, with some rocks and stuff stuck through, and you do see some broken stone and ledge at the bottom that looks like maybe might have been what was supporting the soil above before. And as noted to the south, there's a tunnel, and you can see that the kind of the drag marks and some of the maybe there's a few pieces of intestine and stuff that are maybe fell out of the cow when it was being dragged. It looks kind of almost dryish, so it looks like it might have been it's been, he saw this happen yesterday, so it's been over 24 hours since this happened.
Yeah, when Emerson gets down to the main hole, when he goes down, he pulls out a handkerchief and kind of holds up over his mouth. Not really, the smell doesn't really bother him, as he's used to being around the dead at the funeral home that he manages and stuff. But he just holds it over maybe to protect any disease or spores. And he goes up and looks at the cow itself to maybe see if he can see, if it was like an animal bite or animal tear, or if he can tell anything from that way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, it was torn by an animal in a sense. It looks like it was cut, but it's definitely not a clean cut. You're thinking that whoever cut it was probably either using a very dull or very kind of basic type knife, maybe even a stone knife or something very, wasn't like a saber or something like that, or an axe.
Yeah, it seemed that he doesn't say anything to Lum about it. He just, it appears that whatever beast did this, it would appear that it's maybe quite large. We should be able to see it before it sees us, hopefully. But I guess we need to mosey along. They left us a trail, it appears, and Lum just kind of grunts back and, yes, sir. And he'll light up a torch and hold a torch in one hand and a spear. He's holding like a short-shafted spear in the other as he starts moving into the tunnel.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You light up the torch and start moving forward. After not very long, kind of stepping out of that initial place and then the quiet of the cave, and you can hear your footsteps, you start to hear the sound. It sounds like water rushing. And you walk along maybe, another 10 feet. It sounds like it's getting louder and louder. And at about the 50, 60-foot mark, you can actually hear water pretty loud. And even you can see off in the distance, even though the torch is kind of impeding your dark vision, you can see some actually green glow that maybe is what you're looking for, maybe another 30 or 40 feet out, and you can see water. No, I should say hear water, I should say, at that point as well, like just beyond your torchlight.
Yeah, Emerson would tell Lum to just continue on to see if we first can find the source of the water to make sure we don't step off into a stream or something.
Sure, yeah. So Lum keeps moving forward, and you stop probably as soon as you catch the edge of it. As soon as you start to see the edge of the stream, you see a small figure hulking in front of it, wide-shouldered, kind of brownish, like odd-colored skin, kind of hair tufts on the hair. It's facing away from you, and it looks to be squatted down, looking into the water. It doesn't notice immediately that you kind of cast a light, because you maybe like just as soon as your torch hit it, you step back, so it's kind of in the dark. Like you just got a very quick glimpse of it, and as far as you know, it didn't move. You can actually see it still silhouetted slightly by the green moss that's forming along the edge of the stream. And the stream, you can't tell how wide it is, but you can tell that it's rushing pretty quickly.
And this figure's like a small humanoid shape.
You would guess that it would be maybe like the size of like either a very small man or like a very large child, but much wider. Like it's squatted down, so you can't tell really, but you would guess that it's probably no more than about 5 foot tall, maybe, but definitely as wide as a strong man. And it's not wearing any clothing, I should mention to you. You can tell it's humanoid. It's you saw like the back and the shoulders moving, or they didn't see its arms because it was in front of it. But it looks to be like basically like some kind of a man, but a very dirty greenish brown, dirty, lumpy man.
Yeah, Emerson whispers to Lum and says, "Well, just approach him with utmost caution. We don't know exactly what we're dealing with quite yet. If it's any aggression, you know what to do, Lum. That's what you're here for." So Lum will, put the torch back to where he can illuminate the area more and start slowly approaching this figure, maybe wanting to get 20, 30 feet from it.
Okay. Yeah, so you start walking forward, and again, the torch light starts to creep past the creature, like it's actually getting on it now, and you're starting to see the river, and you see the muscles in its back tense, and you realize that it definitely seen the light now, and it spins around, and it's grotesque. It has a large mouth dripping with blood and guts. It looks like it was eating something, probably. At the edge of the water, and its eyes are huge, compared to what you would expect a man to have, and almost no nose. It's completely flat down, and no ears, and like I said, only tufts of hair. And it sees you, and it has menace in its eyes, and you can tell that it's going to be aggressive. So let's actually roll initiative.
So that's D6 with Dex mod, right?
D6 with Dex, yeah. 3 for the creature.
A 1 for Emerson and a 4 for Lum.
Okay, so Lum, you connect first. You see this creature here. It turns. So you quickly observe it. So what it was eating was some kind of, possibly maybe like one of the legs of the piece of cattle, and what it's brandishing in its hand, which with malice, is a bone that's sharp and pointy.
Yeah, as soon as Lum sees it, he's just gonna and see that it's something that is just out of this world. And knowing what Emerson told him, he chunks that spear straight towards it to try to spear it.
Okay. You gonna throw it or you gonna?
Yeah, he's going to throw it. 13.
No, 13 misses. So it actually probably goes past it because he missed by 2 and into the water and rushes away.
Yeah, and then he'll draw his sword. And then that he has at his side, just draw it for next.
Okay. Yeah. So it like probably what happens is it crouches to start to spring, and your spear goes over its head, and it charges at you with like I said, with malice, and it's going to try to stab into you with his bone. And it rolled an 11, which is 12. Does 12 hit you?
He's wearing like a chain shirt under his clothing, and that said it was 16, but he's got a -1, so it'd be so it'd be 15, wouldn't it?
Okay, yeah, 15. Yeah, so no, that doesn't hit. So he swings at you with the bone, and it shatters against the chain. You think that like if you weren't wearing that chain vest, that bone would have went right into you. And it's clearly surprised that it didn't actually run you through with it. So Emerson.
Emerson, I guess the first thing if he would do, does he hear anything else like any other rushing besides the water, like any footsteps or anything else that maybe the creature has some friends there, or is it just that one?
It's pretty loud, and you don't hear anything. No, it would be you would think that between everything that just happened, you don't think that you would have heard anything anyways, but you don't see anything either. And you can see actually to the edge of the river now, and you don't see anything else standing there. Like if anything else is there, it's not. It's on the other side of the river.
Yeah, he's going to he's probably 10 feet behind Lum and his creature, so he's going to look at the creature, and he's going to put his hand out towards it, and he's going to picture into this creature's mind the dread manifestation. And he's going to put a picture of like Lum, because he's thinking this creature probably hates humans or whatever or more. So he's going to put like this manifestation of this figure of Lum standing over this creature, slicing its throat. So yeah, I want to use dread manifestation on it.
I'm sorry, I was talking and I was muted.
I was looking down reading it, so I thought you were.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it doesn't. I'm gonna say it should probably get a save. It doesn't say. I don't think this book really talks about saves. It just kind of.
Right.
But that being said, it's pretty unintelligent. What's your intelligence?
Emerson is 14.
Okay, so that's a what, +1?
+1, yep.
All right, so I'm going to give it a -1 on its save because it's not very intelligent. Okay, no, it fails completely. Its eyes, which if they could get any bigger, they get, and it drops the shattered bone that's in its hand and exposed. Having jammed this bone in a way that it thought it would have slaughtered him and have the bone explode, and then this vision in its mind, it actually runs. Turns and runs. Letting out kind of a high-pitched scream, and it runs directly into the water.
Oh, does the water carry it away? Or?
Yeah, and let me see if it can get through the water or not. No. It runs into the water, and almost like it didn't even realize the water was there, and it seems to trip and fall and rushes to the left, basically. So that would be to your east. It rushes to the east towards in the direction of the water, being sucked down the river.
Yeah, Emerson walks on up to where Lum is and goes, "Oh, that was a close call. A very hideous creature. I'm glad that he was able to miss you, but I guess we'll let nature take its course with wherever it's washed away. Hopefully it will go under the stream and drown itself." And they'll move on up to the edge of where it was setting to see if they see anything there on the ground and what it was doing.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like it was eating. But as you notice it, you look at it, the piece of bone that it was using, it was actually using it more like a spear. to catch what there seems to be these kind of blind fish just kind of skirting around in this fast-moving stream. But what you do notice is that there's also there's a lot of like weird random stuff in this water. Like you see what maybe looks like a rusted helmet. You see some broken jars, that are sitting here. You see a few sparkles that look like they might be like silver, and a handful of like pieces. It looks like pieces of rusted or worn away weapons. Being that you have 14 intelligence, I'm not gonna make you roll anything. Some of the things you see, like some of the bottles and some of the things that you're seeing, you think that this they look like they could be like what you might bury people with, like grave goods, but they look very ancient.
Yeah, it seemed that in Emerson's background, he would try to see if maybe could it be able where you could like maybe reach out if you like with his sword, where you could reach out and maybe try to drag them back towards the shore, or would you have to actually go in the water?
Yeah, there's some stuff close enough that you could probably get. There's a lot of litter here, a lot of smaller pieces, and in fact, what it looks like they've done is jam some of the bigger pieces kind of in here, almost making not quite a dam, but making a bit of like a slow section, which is how they were kind of getting the fish to accumulate here. So even though what you can get from this is that while they're vicious creatures, they have some kind of like intelligence because they're clearly like fishing in a sense. But yeah, you can pull a piece of like a bottle or something.
Yeah, he would take time maybe to pull some stuff in, and maybe see if there's anything that's valuable that they could pull in.
You find a handful of silver coins, let's say 12 silver coins that are valuable. Most of the other stuff that you kind of are able to scoop up looks like it probably was valuable, but the years in the water have just beaten it. And as you look kind of what would be to your right, which is the west, you see it just the tunnel, if you will, where the river goes starts to get much more narrow, so you really couldn't progress that way. But to the east, where the thing got washed down, it's relatively wide, but it is fast moving. But because of how they built up this little dam area for fishing, if the thing had not been scared out of its mind and it like went with caution, it could have got across the water. The water's only maybe like 4 feet deep, and it's not that fast in this exact area as long as you don't, slip. I guess.
Yeah, we would continue. We would go to the east way then, where we can, if we had to cross the water to continue on or continue east.
Yeah, to the south, basically. If you go south, you'll cross the river. The river itself flows from the west to the east. So,
all right.
But you would imagine, you could probably think that either to the west, if you could somehow get down there, or to the east in this river, there's probably more stuff because it's getting washed down. Where it's coming from, you don't necessarily recall any grave sites like relatively close to here, but it could be some ancient burial site that's starting to be washed away via just erosion of this river. But in any case, you cross the river, and on this side of the river, there's actually some of this green moss that you could collect if you wanted to.
Yeah, they'll take probably turn 10 minutes or so, or whatever it took to kind of get their senses back and gather a bag full of it.
Okay. Yeah. So roll a d6, and we'll say that like 6.
2.
2. Okay. So 6. You can fit like 6 units of it. We'll say in the bag. So you got 2 so far units of the green moss.
All right.
And that bag full is enough to make a potion. Okay. So we'll say between doing all that, your spell has acquired. So roll a d6 and see what happens, because there's results that happen.
A 2.
2. Oh, okay. So the creature that you created attains full materiality and autonomy. So there is somewhere a powerful version of Lum wandering around with the desire to kill. So that should be interesting.
Does that mean like it?
It's not.
I guess it's interpretation, but would that mean like its main deal is to go after that creature, or it could just like attack anybody? I wonder.
No, it has autonomy, so it can basically do whatever it wants to do.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it's not necessarily evil. But it's because the way it was manifested, it's probably a killer for sure.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Emerson he wouldn't know this, though, would he? Or do you get to know?
No, you don't know that. I'm just throwing it there. I mean, you may not even encounter it because the way the spell is, the dread manifests follows the creature, so it went into the water. So where that water ends up, if it ends up somewhere that you end up, then you might encounter him. Otherwise, you won't.
Yeah, I mean, Emerson would know, but there was a chance of that happening, but he wouldn't
Sure.
know for sure. But that's the result, of course. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's 6 things that could happen. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he doesn't say anything to Lum about what he does because
yeah,
he's probably thinks that and Bobby was either scared of Lum or Lum would think
yeah,
he's crazy.
yeah. And basically, what it says is that it's I think double the. Manifestation is real. The source of fear assumes double the level compared to the source with appropriate special abilities. So it's at least it's double the level of the creature that was.
Huh.
So if you encounter it, that's how we'll figure it out. And whether or not we'll just have to make a reaction check. If you meet it, that's just good to know for the future because we're testing the spell system. It's fun. But in any case, you went south. The tunnel continues to kind of the southeast, and you can see more glowing moss in that direction as well.
Yeah. If they see that, Emerson would tell Lum that let's continue that and try to get some more.
Yeah, it's fairly. It's not bright in here, but you can definitely see not to fall over. I mean, besides the torch, the other, of course, because there's a decent amount of it as you move into the next section. And when you do, you see coming towards you 3 similar-looking creatures to what you just encountered. They seem to be rushing. Maybe they heard the scream that the creature made in your direction, and they're brandishing what look like weapons, maybe ancient weapons, because they look rusty, and like one of them has like a beaten up helmet on, and one's carrying a shield, and they're charging up towards you with vicious intent. Clearly, they're coming to get you.
All right.
But the way the tunnel's shaped, there's no way that anybody's getting surprised because they're running from like 60 feet away from you. So by the time you get to the room, they're kind of coming into it as well. So we'll just roll initiative. They're going to attack you basically. Oof.
Let's see. Emerson had a 4 and Lum had a 3.
Okay, they got a 6. So they are going to charge at you. So the charge is going to give them double damage if they hit, but their AC is down by 2 for this round. So the first one, 2 will charge because you can't charge. So 2 charge forward. The first one at Emerson rolls an 11.
His is 13. He wears like a leather coat deal.
Okay, you easily knock it back. Actually, it was less than a non-armored person, so he misses you completely. Like he charges past you, probably stumbles, and then another one runs at Lum, brandishing a rusty sword. It also misses with the 5. So the 2 of them charging past you, like literally charge past you and just like run, completely past you, missing almost comically. The third one, is approaching, but he's not charging, so he won't be able to attack this round. But he'll be within melee range for you to attack him if you'd like. So currently, because they ran past you, you've got 2 that are kind of behind you, and then 1 that's in front of you currently. So it's now. I'm sorry, whoever was next on your party.
Would be Emerson. He got the highest. Let's see real quick. He is going to look at the one, like the one that's still coming and approaching us, that's in front of us that didn't kind of go past him and Lum.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to look towards it and use dominate on it. And to try to dominate into its mind and its body to just command it to just stay there.
Oh, right. You go into its body and access their senses. Save. Okay. So, actually, this one says there is a saving throw and the other one doesn't. So now we know for the future there's no saving throw on the other one. Dread Manifestation. All right. So he gets a save, which he fails. So you are in his body.
Yep, it says the source may physically enter the body,
Okay, so
access their senses and dictate its physical actions.
Okay, and it can actually. All right, I see. So you can definitely use it to fight or whatever, although it's going to look awkward if it tries to resist. it will take damage. So it can choose to try to resist, which it probably will the first time you try to do something, because that's what something would do. But it'll take damage if it tries to resist.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll do whatever you want. I guess we'll just have it act on your turn to make it easier. Because you can't do anything according to the spell. You have to just stand there.
Yep, that'll be fine.
Okay. And then I guess it's Lum.
Yeah, Lum, or the one that run past him that was coming at him, he'll turn around with his big long sword and try to hopefully hit it and cleave it in two. He hopes. But he's not going to do it with a 5 on the die.
No, definitely not. They're only 13 this round, but yeah, okay. Okay, so it's back to them. They, the two that charged and ran past, they turned back around, and they're both actually going to charge at who they went after before. Unfortunately, because you're just standing there concentrating, you are going to have a -2 to your AC.
All right, so that would bump me down to 11 then.
11, yeah. And but of course not the case with Lum. So the first one charges at Emerson with an 11 exactly. 10
oh, wow.
Oh man, just enough. It actually rolled the same thing. It jams into you. I mean, there's no concentration in this, so you won't lose the spell, but you will take damage. So it's jamming into you with a D6 damage. Oof, 6 points of damage. I mean, I guess that makes sense if you're standing still. Yeah.
Yep, he's still up, but he's hurt pretty bad.
You got your back to it, and it's just standing there, and it runs at you, and it just with probably a spear or some kind of spears like a broken sword into you or something. And the second one comes at Lum with its hatchet or whatever it's got, and rolls a 12, which misses Lum because you're right full AC. Yep.
All right.
The third one can't do anything because you're controlling it. And so then we're at Emerson.
Yeah, he's going to the one he's got under domination. He just wants to keep it where it's at, like it's kind of frozen in fear, or he's just going to keep it completely away from all the rest of them. That's what he wants to do.
Okay, so since it doesn't know what's going on, it's low intelligence, it's going to try to resist that. So it's going to do a die of damage, so a D6 damage. So go ahead and roll a D6.
All right, D6 damage. Oh man, a 1.
Okay, it feels the pain, and it tries to move forward because it did resist. I guess it takes the damage, but it still gets to resist, I guess. Subject to the spell may resist any dictated action by taking a die of damage. Okay, so it resists being held there and takes a point of damage, and it moves forward and attacks Lum. Because it doesn't know one possessing it, and Lum looks the most dangerous because he just...
All right.
Oof, 18 on the die.
Oh yeah, that's going to hit him.
Yeah, and he's got some kind of rusted old weapon as well for a D6 damage. 5 points of damage. My D6 is rolling like crazy.
Man, Lum is hurt pretty bad himself now, but they're both still up for right now.
My D20 is not doing well. My D6 is killing you. All right, so that's all the creatures. So it's back around to Emerson.
Well, no, Lum didn't get to go last time because remember we did Emerson where he was holding the creature and frozen, and the creature. Right. So it'd be Lum and then back to the creatures, I believe, right?
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, Lum is the one. I guess he'll try to the one that running just up to him now that was frozen. He's gonna try the first one, the original one, the one that run past him. He's gonna try to hit it again. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like 18 plus 4, so 22 to hit.
Yeah.
Does the strength bonus, does that add to damage in this?
No, not in Lamentations.
Okay, it's just 3 then. 3 damage with his long sword.
Let me roll some points. All right, let me roll some points with a different dice. Oh my god, it had 3 hit points. All right, so that one goes down. Actually, I didn't roll hit points for the first guy. I took 1 damage. Okay, no, the first guy's not dead because it would have been funny if he only had 1 hit.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't think that actually because he can't have 1 hit point because he's got it's 1+1. So all right, so let me just knock that guy off. So he drops. This guy's got this many left, and then the other guy has. Okay, these guys are pretty tough. All right, except for the one you nailed. So that is now back to Emerson. Is that right?
No, it'd be back to the creatures because they had a higher than they had a 6. I think, and Emerson had a 4. So.
All right, good. All right, so the creature that is that attacked that is being held, I should say, is he goes on your turn. So there's only 1 left then. So the one that jammed Emerson in the back is going to try it again since you're just standing there. Though somehow it missed with a 9.
Well, no, will his AC still be the -2 though, or?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
so
rolled
it's
a 9.
11. He's okay. Good.
So how
Huh.
I do not know. I guess it was too overly confident. Maybe it didn't actually attack you this round. It jammed you, and then it kind of was like looking at you. It's just poking you to see if you're actually dead or not. So it doesn't actually make it a successful attack this round. So then that's its turn, and then the next one will have its turn. Whatever Emerson has to do.
Yeah, he has to concentrate on maintaining that, doesn't he? Because if he does
Yeah,
something else, it'll take it away, won't it?
that's right. Do you still want it to?
Yeah. So if it's up to Emerson, yeah, he'll keep concentrating on the dominated one and try to make it walk away, and just to leave the area.
Okay, you're gonna make it walk away. Okay, so I mean, since it only took 1 point of damage last time, and it's not that smart, it probably doesn't know that it's because of the domination. So it's going to try to resist again. So go ahead and make a d6 damage again.
D6. Ooh, hot dog 5.
Okay. It starts to go, and it literally like falls to its knees, racking in pain. And it's standing there, just holding its weapon, just like in intense pain. It's not dead, but it's very close to being dead from that. That was like a really serious blow to it.
All right.
And then it goes to Lum.
Yeah, Lum is going to actually attack the other one that's not dominated, the one that was just missed Emerson. He's going to try to take that one away because he's thinking that he needs to help Emerson right now. Ooh, on a 19 plus 4, so 23. But only 2 points of damage.
Yeah, okay. It's funny. I was going to test that other thing with this one too, that I was talking about the other night, that you take your roll and you subtract it from their armor class.
Oh yeah, right.
I still want to try that and see how it works out, because that would have probably killed it. Okay, so all right, it's back to their turn. So this guy's only at 1 hit point left, but he does not understand what's going on. So he's gonna try to. He's actually going to attack Emerson, because the Lum moved to the side to attack this other one, and he's in so much pain he's not moving. So he's going to take a swing at Emerson with a 4. That's going to miss. The one that attacked Emerson the first round is now going to attack Lum, because Lum just attacked it. And it rolls a 13-14. That misses, right?
On Lum?
Yep.
Yeah, he's 15, so.
Okay. So it jabs at you. So again, it hits you. The chainmail protects you.
Back to Emerson then, huh?
Actually,
yeah, he's going to concentrate on the dominated one again, and try to make it walk away, walk away from this area.
And I think it's just not smart enough to understand that's what's going on. It only has 1 hit point left, so it takes its weapon, and tries to make a swing, and it just can't. It just can't do it. It like racking pain goes through its body, and it falls over dead.
All right.
And then
Lum will try to finish off the last one. He hopes before this last one finishes them off. All right, a 17. Man, this guy's hot. Oh, max damage 6.
That's enough. 6 kills it. All right, this thing drops. And you see now the 3 dead creatures. I mean, probably Emerson's pretty hurt, but actually, you're both pretty hurt. But you see the 3 dead creatures around you, and you can tell, having seen the stuff in the water, that they clearly pick stuff out of the water and created whatever armor or whatever they have. And they kind of wielding these rusty, broken weapons.
Yeah, Emerson looks over at Lum and says, well, we're still alive, but barely. It looks like both of us, we've taken 4 of these creatures down, though. I guess hopefully that other one drowned, but I guess we can continue a little forward and see what we see, but I don't think I'm in the mood to do too much more, but let's go forward. And the passageway keeps going on from the way they come.
Yep.
Yeah, they're slowly. Of course, they've got the torchlight, which is shining, of course, but they're going to take their time and stealth forward and hopefully be able to see ahead of them enough to see something and take their time.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, you move forward, and the path moves along to the east and starts to bend towards the north. And you can kind of see off in the distance that it looks like it opens up into a cavern, and there's more of this green, fungus here. And you hear, as you kind of start to round the corner, the sound of combat. Fighting. And as you kind of come around the corner, you see that you can see and you also hear the river. You see that the river has popped through this larger cavern, and there seems to be some kind of a bridge that's going over it. That's made out of like just like heaps of kind of debris that you had seen in the other part of the tunnel. Like it almost looks like it could have been a dam, but it was just really wasn't well constructed. So water just rushing through it, but you just see like piles of like plate armor that's rusted and like pole arms that are jammed in the ground and like big smashed vases that would have been maybe buried with the people. And standing on top of this pile could be the twin of Lum. Fighting with some of these creatures. So roll a d8.
A d8? Okay, let me find it real quick. A 5.
Okay, he's embattled with one on top of the mountain. There's not a lot of space there, but you can see on the other side of this thing, probably like 4 more are like kind of trying to throw rocks or do whatever they can to get to him, but they're not really like the bridge isn't wide enough really to get them across. So he's kind of holding his own on top of the bridge. As you come
so we see Lum Jr. and 5 of those creatures then.
Yeah, and Lum Jr. is fighting one of them.
Emerson is very smart and wise. I mean, so he of course now he knows what has happened with that spell, it's seeing this, and Lum probably has no idea of what's going on. And Emerson touches him on the shoulder and he says, well, if we get out of here alive, I'll explain exactly what you're seeing, but let's ease our way back. We don't need to go any further this way at all. And they're going to try to ease back the way they come from.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
And wasn't there a way, but like if we ease back enough, wasn't there like a area there where we could stop and get some more of that moss real quick?
It was, yeah. Well, you fought the 3 creatures?
Yeah, we'll do that then.
Okay, yeah, so we'll
get some more. D6, okay. A 5.
All right, yeah, so now you've got total of 7, so that's enough to make 1 potion for sure.
And when we go back to the stream, there wasn't any other passageways to go, were they?
No.
Really?
No, if you go back to the stream, you're basically heading back out. There wasn't actually when you kind of came into the room with the bridge, although you didn't actually go in there, you did see that it opened up, that you could have went kind of to the right, but you would have had to go out into the open to get there. So you could go kind of right or left, but you would have been out in the open and possibly seen if you were trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, and on the stream, can we kind of along the stream walls itself? You said they kind of narrow in, but I guess maybe Emerson would look on one side and Lum the other side to see if there's any like narrow passageway you could walk along the stream that way.
Towards the direction that you think that the creature.
Yeah, like where the one washed away.
Yeah. It looks like it's a pretty well rushed through a tunnel, so you'd have to go into the water. You don't know really, what you'd encounter in the water. It's going pretty quickly. You feel like you'd likely get rushed away, and mechanically you'll need to make a couple of strength checks, or you're going to get washed away, and you would take damage.
Yeah, Emerson would go back then, like where they encountered the first one that was knelt down by the stream, and see if we can dig up some more material. He would want to dig up some more material from the stream bed itself if we could, and see if we can find anything else.
Yeah, for sure. You dig in there, and you're able to you find a couple of pieces of jewelry. A ring that looks like it has some value. It's gold, and you also find like a crown, not a full crown, but like you put across your head. The name of it escapes me, but the little kind of the skinny one that goes across the head with a single gem in the middle. You find one of those 2 made of silver that looks like it's got some good value to it for sure, and everything looks very old, so it's kind of got additional value besides the actual gold value. If it were like if you sell it like in a city, you'll get more for it because the kind of they're clearly ancient.
Yeah, he'll look towards Lum then, and after they gather that up, and well, I believe, friend, we need to go back and explain to the farmer that we've taken care of some of whatever beasts these are, but there's more down here. You and I are not doing too well at all. We should go recover and maybe bring back some of the townsfolk and help us take out these beasts. So Emerson talks Lum into returning back and going back up to the surface.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're heading back. So just while you're doing that, just as kind of somewhat meta, but we're gonna do it anyways. Go ahead and roll a d20.
All right. A 5.
Okay. Lum part 2 kills that. Believe it or not, I got a 3. Kills that one he was fighting. Roll another d20.
8.
Oh my god, 9. Lum kills that one too. No. I know I beat you. So the
Yeah, he
second
beat me that one.
next one kills Lum. So
Ah!
you don't know that, but Lum the second actually took out 6 of them total.
Wow.
Yeah, he was pretty ferocious war,
Ah.
and was able to wipe out 6 of the creatures down there. But of course, you don't really know how many there are. But you definitely make off with the ring, which is worth about 100 gold pieces. It's silver, and the crown. I'm sorry, it's gold rather, and the crown with the gem in it is worth about 150, or I should say silver pieces because it's Lamentations and Flame Princess. And you of course got you got the stuff to make the potion.
Yep, 12 silver coins and enough to make a potion. Yep.
And then you think based on seeing that big pile of junk down there that if you were to come back with people and clear these guys out, there's probably a lot of grave goods from somewhere. That there's probably an ancient tomb that maybe.
Yeah, of course, Emerson doesn't tell the farmer about any of that. I mean, he just shares with them about finding the creatures down there and taking out what they could, but running into a nest of them and escaping barely with his life, and they'll need to get some more townsfolk to go with them.
Yeah, clearly with the money you got, you could easily raise up a small group of men at arms and go back someday. So yeah, that was cool. Next turn, that was fun.
Yeah, it worked very well, I thought.
This was actually, let's see if we can do it. This was a Tim Shorts thing called Norkerland, and those were.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize it, man.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize it at all.
Yeah, I changed it a bit to suit kind of the idea that I had with your magic user. He did have the fungi in there that turns into the potion, so I was like, okay, that's useful as a lure, and I changed the creatures up a bit, made them a little bit less powerful because they had better AC, but not much. I kept them about where they were, and
the spell bill I think worked okay. I mean,
yeah, I thought those were great. So far, I'm excited to use the system more for sure. So we'll be doing more and more of it. I like those spells. Like I thought they were really flavorful and used them really well. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording. This